Hey, what's up you guys? Today I'm going to talk about what I did pre-pregnancy that worked for me to eventually get pregnant. So the first thing I want to talk about are the apps I used. I originally started out with just an app. I had used Oviya Fertility. It's a little yellow app, looks just like that. And it helped me follow my menstrual cycle. It has this nice little calendar that you can just track when your cycle is supposed to be. You can track temperature and cervical mucus, your sexual activity, your sleep, your weight, all sorts of things, symptoms that throughout your cycle. To start out, I just used this. So I didn't really know like my body that well, but I knew it well enough to kind of know like where I was in the month. So I just started out using that this year. I used it for previous years as well. I've been tracking my cycles and stuff on it for a really long time, just to kind of like know my body and kind of be able to predict when my periods came and everything. So I originally just started with that app. The last 2 months before I got pregnant, so starting in November and December, I began to use Kendara, which is that middle one right there, so the beautiful little blue app. And I mainly just use this to track my charts. So the first month I used it just a regular thermometer because I did not have a BBT thermometer, and tracked pretty much the same things that I was tracking on the Oviya app, but I was tracking my temperature on here because it was really hard to read on the Oviya app. So I had both of them. I would track my symptoms and other things on Oviya, and then this one I would track my cycle. I would still add my ovulation and when we had intercourse, and if I had positive tests, sometimes I would track my cervical mucus, especially like the last month. You can see that I tracked my temperatures. So in November, when I was started tracking my temperature, I just used a regular thermometer that I had around. I just wanted to get in the habit of doing it before I purchased one. And I was already part way through my cycle when I started using it, so I didn't want to start using one fresh off the bat. I eventually bought this thermometer right here, this digital baseball thermometer. I just ordered it off Walmart. It is super flexible, which is kind of crazy, and it's easy at home. It also, they have an app that goes with this one. It is Bluetooth and it can connect to your phone as well. You turn it on and then it has 4 digits instead of 3. So that's pretty fancy. It was successful for me. I only used it 1 month, so that's pretty good. I would usually, for my daily routine, my alarm usually goes off at 6:45 in the morning. I would just quickly grab it, pop it in my mouth, and sit with it with my mouth closed until it went off. And then I would record my temperature into my phone and then go back to sleep. Because I don't actually get up at 6:45, it's just my pre-alarm. So, but that's when I would do it. So it worked out pretty well for me, I would say. Next thing I did, we'll talk about ovulation strips. So I just ordered a big box of ovulation strips off of Walmart. These are Pregmate ovulation tests. The box is super cute, and they have little sperms on the top, and it's kind of funny, and it's pretty neat. So the actual strips look just like this. You pull them out, they look just like these strips on the back. I had like cups that I purchased, like little tiny like drinking cup things that I purchased just to pee in. and tests my ovulation. It tells you when to begin testing in your cycle, so that's pretty nice. I usually would test like a few days after, maybe like the day after my period ended, sometimes 2 days after, and just start tracking them and recording them in my phone. It's pretty easy to read. If there's no line, it's invalid, or the wrong line is lit up, it's invalid. Negative means it's fainter than the control test, and then if it is darker or equal to the control test line, then it is positive. So they're pretty simple to read. Typically if it was darker, then I knew my ovulation was a little bit, or my LH was a little bit higher than my little bit higher than normal. More high than normal, is like peaking, excuse me. And then I also ended up purchasing 20 of their pregnancy tests, which are like the same strips. They're just pregnancy ones instead, so they track the HCG instead of LH. And I purchased those right before I found out I was pregnant, so of course I have 20 test strips and no reason to use them now. So yay me. So I have those as well. But I really liked that brand, and I would definitely purchase it in the future for future children. So those are two things that I do. I started doing ovulation tests in July before Drew got home, so I could kind of start beginning to get more familiar with my cycle. So I've been doing that since July, and then I started BBT. I started regular thermometer in November and BBT in December. So those were like the main, like just tracking my cycle things that I did for health. So I got a gym membership in May, if you guys have been following my vlogs. I've been working out at least once a week or more since then. I have a pretty, sometimes I have a pretty active lifestyle, so I'm not necessarily not getting any physical activity. Excuse me. Forgot where I was going with that. So I was exercising pretty decently, getting at least 1 to 2 days a week. When Drew got back, we got more in a consistent schedule. Since he has to work out more, there are some weeks that we kind of fell off the wagon, especially in December. I think towards like the end of December, we weren't going quite as much, just because holidays are always a super busy time. And then we picked up at the beginning of the year again, we're going daily now, but that's another story for another time. So I was working out and trying to stay healthy. We were also doing yoga if we didn't have time to go to the gym sometimes. I was doing a lot of running and rowing. I like the rowing machine. I feel like it's a nice upper body workout. It's a full body workout, and it still burns quite a bit of calories. So for my eating, so I found something that talks about like what you should eat at certain parts of your cycle if you're trying to get pregnant. So I ate a lot of eggs and spinach the weeks before and the week of my ovulation, since they have a lot of folate, and eggs have a lot of protein. Eggs is like a complete food, so it is really good for you. I would do little cups with spinach and cheese in them and cover that up, and then take like an egg with me to work, and then I would crack it in there and put it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and it makes really good eggs. They actually have egg things that you can buy at like the grocery store, and they're, I think it's like a cup of eggs or something like that. Cup of eggs. And you just crack an egg in it, and it's already like pre-made for you, but they're like almost $2. So I started just making my own. I would buy a bag of spinach, and I always have cheese, and I always have eggs almost too, so I would always have those available to me, and it was really easy lunch. I I would do those for lunch. I usually just do coffee for breakfast. I'm really bad about breakfast in general. Not now, but I was. So that was my main like food choice. I would also, the week after ovulation, when we're into the implantation weeks, I did a lot of soup and just made sure I ate a lot of like warm foods, because it's supposed to help keep your uterus warm. So it keeps up the circulation and helps with the implantation. So those were some food things that I did that eventually led to my pregnancy. I don't know for sure if they work or don't work, but they worked for me. So exercise is especially good just because it gets your circulation up. Everyone should be working out anyways. It's good for your heart, but I can get into that another day. So now I'll just do a quick pregnancy update. I am going to do a first trimester video once I am out of the or close to the end of the first trimester. I am currently about 8 to 9 weeks. I went to the doctor on January 15th and they did a blood test and said I was about 9 weeks. At that time I thought, or no, they said I was about 8 weeks, and I thought at the time I was 7 weeks. So there's a little bit of a confusion. So I hope I can figure out like how far along I actually am on Friday. I am going to get a sonogram and have an actual doctor's appointment with an OB. So I'm so excited about that. I will have a real pregnancy update, looking at my schedule here, next week for my video. So look forward to that. I also have a lot of videos planned in the future, because in February it will be 1 year since my husband left for boot camp. So we're going to do a 1 year in the Army video, even though it's been a little longer than a year. I also plan on doing the Milso tag, so I'm excited about that. I'll have another drill weekend vlog come up, and then I'll have my first trimester update, talk with me kind of thing. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to follow our pregnancy journey and the start of our new family. Or if you like military things, related things, make sure you subscribe to follow our military journey. And I will see you all next week. Bye!